y'all. I hope you can see this okay. Let me get my tablet ready where I can see if there's any comments or questions. There we are. But I don't know how to turn the volume down. Give me a second. There we go. Okay, I just made a live event for tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. for practicing on portraits. I'm not great at portraits. I have a good time with portraits, but this is a cool way, I think, to cheat a little bit and have a little bit of fun. So the supply list is pretty simple. These are the stencils that I'm going to use and have available. So just two kind of small simple stencils. They're just going to go here and there as the background on our page. I cut this out of a magazine a while ago, and I was going to do it like this, but I think it'll look better kind of cockeyed. So I'm going to move that a little bit and then put the other portion of the picture on the other side. So I just kind of cut out around her. So we'll be cutting off this down here. And I'm going to glue that on now. But and I'm just going to use this matte medium if I can get it open. And I don't have all of my paints here, but we're going to need some neutral colors because we're going to be mixing skin and flesh tones. So definitely white and brown, or like a burnt umber. Maybe some yellow and some red. And then whatever color you want your background to be. Whatever color her outfit is. I mean, you can do a man or a woman or a child or whatever you want to do. I kind of wanted to practice this with a picture of, you know, one of my children or grandchildren, but then that puts a lot of pressure on because you're wondering if anybody's going to like it, wondering if it's going to look like them, wondering if they're going to like it and appreciate all the heart and soul that you put into it. So when you just take a random picture out of a magazine and use that, there's no pressure. I don't know who this is. She doesn't know who I am. So if she looks ugly when I'm done, it really doesn't matter. So that's the reason that instead of using, you know, a picture of someone in our family or something like that, that we're using one out of a magazine. So what you would need to have ready before tomorrow's class would be look through all your magazines until you find a picture that you want to use, cut it out, and glue it down, which is what I'm fixing to do now. I got glue on my fingers already. And then, I thought I brought in a better brush for that. Here you go. And then the clear gesso. We've used that for projects before, so hopefully you still have some, because we're going to put that over the paper so that it, you know, the paints won't sink through, and over the picture so that it will be ready to take paints tomorrow. So wish I had a bigger brush for this, but this is all I started to use this picture. Isn't she pretty? But I decided she wasn't big enough to go over both pages. You could glue this down with Mod Podge. You could glue it down with matte medium. You can glue it down with Elmer's glue, whatever you have. Just whatever you have to glue it down with. But this is going to be a lot of fun. What we're going to do is take our colors, what we have with, you know, our browns, whites, reds, yellows, and make flesh tones. And we're gonna, this kind of be like sort of like a paint by number. We're gonna be painting our ladies' faces and our ladies' bodies or whatever, and just going over the features that are already there, so we don't have to come up with anything, but we will get a little bit of experience of working on portraits through that with, you know, no extra pressure. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. Let's see, how did that go? We were going to have her about like this, I think. That dries pretty quickly. Get a little more around the edges because I don't want it to come up. But it, you know, if you don't have an art journal, you really should get one, in my opinion, because I love working in the art journal because it's something that's just for me, and I can work on anything. I can practice drawing or practice painting or put ideas in here. Anything in the world that I want to do can go in here, and it's the place that, you know, I can play and enjoy trying new things and keep them all together for if I ever want to look at them again. So the art journal is a lot of fun to have. I cut mine first in a different way, so I'm just going to glue this piece back on here because I decided to move it over a little bit. But I think having her cock out a little bit is going to give us a little bit more leeway to have fun with our background. So I hope that I set it up like an event because I didn't know how else to get the message out there about it. Instead of just going live or just sending the, you know, the message that will be going live. I wanted to, you know, have it as an event so I could share that as something we'll do together tomorrow. I'm figuring probably about an hour, but, you know, that also depends on if we have a lot of questions and things like that. Okay, where would her arm come across this page? Probably about right there, but there's where the page starts. I'm thinking that looks right. Oh, my allergies. I don't know if where y'all live, if it's as much extreme pollen as there is here, but I'm telling you, it's rough. And then I'm just gonna cut off this bottom part. It's kind of hard to do backwards. I think I'm cutting off part of my journal, and that's okay. Art journal's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be fun. So anyway, I just wanted to pop on tonight in case anybody had any questions about what to get together. I just kind of figure everybody's got a magazine of some sort around their house, some kind of something they can cut a picture out of. I mean, if you wanted to go ahead and do yours with a family picture or something like that, you're definitely can do that. I just didn't want that pressure on myself. So that's why I did it this way. And having that background is, you know, definitely going to be a lot of fun. The clear gesso, I really needed a bigger brush for this, but I don't have one up here, amazingly. I don't know. I think all my brushes are downstairs right now. So I'm going to use this tiny one. Oh wait, here's a bigger one. This will be much better. And it doesn't matter what stencils you have or what you use or anything. That's just going to be something to add a little bit of interest to the background. Just more fun. So I hope y'all will join me. And it'll be here, as you know, if you can't be available at 10:30 tomorrow, the class will be here. It'll be here to watch at any time. But we haven't painted or done a project together for a little while. So, and again, this is clear gesso, because if you use white, then you wouldn't be able to see your picture. And we are prepping this page and our picture to take the paint tomorrow. I just think it's better to go ahead and get this part done either tonight or first thing in the morning. But the clear gesso is definitely important. It's okay if your page wrinkles up a little bit. All of that's okay. But if we went directly, you can even see where this is smearing a little bit. If we went directly on the page with the paints, there would definitely be more smearing and more issues. I've put this on pretty thick. It's not going to dry as, wipe a little off, as clear as I would like it to, but we're going to be painting her tomorrow anyway. The same thing on the other side. I worked for the newspaper for many years, and things were different at the newspaper than they are now. Things weren't digital and all that. The newspaper was like all printed, was actually typed at one point before we even had computers and all that, but they would print it out, and we had these hot wax machines, and the hot wax machines, you would like take the portions of these pictures and things like that for articles, and you would run them through this hot wax, and the wax is what was used for glue to put that down. But anyway, if you've ever opened a newspaper, and inside the newspaper you open it up and there's an ad on both sides, I don't know if they still do that as much as they did back when newspaper advertising was a big thing, but that was called a double truck. So we're doing a double truck. And we didn't have to. And if you're doing it on a piece of scrapbook paper or on a canvas or something because you don't have an art journal, it absolutely does not have to be done on 2 pages or anything like that. This is coming up a little bit. It can be done on 1, so I don't want you to stress out over that. Just put it on 1 and we'll go together. But since I'm doing this one in my art journal, I wanted to do it on the double truck. So that's all that you would have to do to prepare. You definitely are going to need some small little what are called liner brushes, as small as you can get, the better, because when we're outlining her eyebrows tomorrow and around her eyes and doing the things in the eyes, you really want a small tip on your brush for that. A little bit larger brushes, probably not much larger than this, for doing her clothes or skin or outfit, hair and things like that. But mostly what we're going to be working on is working on skin tones and flesh tones, adding a little blush to the cheeks and things like that. But all the shading that's in here is, you think that, you know, a person's skin tone is the person's skin tone. This lady is very pale, but it's actually not. If you look through here, see the shadow on the neck, how dark, and there's a little bit of a shadow here on the side of her face, a little bit of a darker line that shows you where her jawline is at and things like that, darker here around the hair. Those are all things that we're going to work on in at least a little bit of an abstract way or whatever, but those are the things that we're going to work on with this as our background. So it's almost like a paint by number. We'll be able to see the lips, put in the darker colors and bring them back and give it the highlights. See right there on her cheeks, that's the lightest parts of her cheeks. We'll come in with the lighter colors there, and those are the things that we'll be practicing with this. So I hope you see the event on the page. Let me know if you're interested or if you're coming, and I hope to see you tomorrow around 10:30. Thanks. Bye.